Self-care. It's such a deep, layered word, and for me, it's really become the process of getting to know yourself, showing up for yourself over and over again. In creation of the Self-Care Creature podcast, I want to teach you, too, how to have a relationship with yourself. We're going to dive into the psychological and physiological unfoldings of adopting what I love to call a self-care lifestyle. This podcast is here to help you, the stressed out but spiritually minded individual who can feel that wild calling in your heart, who wants to develop self-care rituals to support your daily living, give you the confidence and know-how to live through your intuition and raise your self-worth. You deserve it. You are capable of this. And I want to help you understand how the hell to get there, what it actually means, and how do you actually live it. That's where my intention is with this podcast. The Self-Care Creature podcast, brought to you by me, your host, Courtney Klopp. Let's dive in. Hello, creatures, and welcome in. Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to give a little context. This is a candid conversation with Katie Walton, a yoga student, local community member, and someone I really enjoy talking to. Katie is part of the Skagit and Whatcom County community, and this is a good one. We get into some big questions, starting with what energy actually is, what Reiki means, and how slowing down can change everything. It's a really nice conversation that weaves all around, and I hope that you enjoy it. Feel free to always leave notes, give feedback. I love to hear how it lands for you. Sharing on social media or with somebody that you think would enjoy the episode is always really helpful. And if you are local to Skagit or Whatcom area or the surrounding areas, I just want to make sure you know about the restorative Reiki workshops that I am co-hosting happening seasonally throughout 2026. That is on Friday, May 1st, September 18th, and December 18th. I believe those are all Fridays, and the dates and the ticket links are all in the show notes. Okay, let's get into it. All I know is that you have a question about energy, and I'm
sweet.
Yeah, I love these candid conversations that we just have sometimes. So
yeah.
I'm trying to capture more of them.
Yeah, and it's something I've been wondering about, and then all of a sudden when you mentioned your class, and then I know you, and I was like, bing, she knows these things.
Oh.
I can ask her these things. She already knows secrets of the universe. I was like, I can ask her.
Yeah. About Reiki specifically, or the energy healing?
Well, I'll tell you where I'm coming from.
Okay, yeah, please.
I am really, really hyper aware of energy, but I've had no, I don't even know the world of what that is.
Yeah.
And somebody did Reiki to me once a while ago. Like, I didn't know him, and they're like, let me do Reiki.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. And that was the only thing I was like, well, I don't know what that was. And
yeah,
it was so just, I needed more information, I needed more.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, I don't know what that is. I'd rather get a massage, right?
Yeah. I'm laughing a little because that was exactly my path too with it.
Like,
yeah,
I don't really get what's happening. And then,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And then my own experience with energy and with encountering energies of other people, like, it's super accurate and super clear. And I just had an experience recently where I was with somebody who's, on the outside, like, all nice.
Yeah.
And their energy was terrible, really dark energy. And I was like, oh, I'm suffocating. I've got to get away. I cannot be with this person.
Whoa.
And so I just was like, okay, I don't really understand what happens, but I just know
how to listen, it sounds like.
I just had to listen to this person. Wow.
Yeah.
And,
whoa.
And stuff like that happens to me a lot. Like, and I thought, maybe you actually know something about it that's more than just my intuitive experience. And I thought, I think Courtney must know.
Oh, great.
So please, tell me the secrets of the universe. I'd like to hear.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I have a succinct answer, to be completely honest. I love this ask and this share, though, especially because I relate to it so deeply. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm still pretty new on my own exploration with energy, because I feel very similar to you. I'm like, I know that I feel it for sure. I know what is mine and what isn't, and it's for sure real. But also, like, I don't understand it, and I got Reiki from people over the years, and same thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's nice, and I love that. And I even had a couple of Reiki practitioners like say, I feel like I maybe felt something in your right hip, for example, is a place that I have a ongoing injury. And so that surprised me that people are able to really pick up on these things when, like, because I'm experiencing this, I'm speaking to a time in my life where I'm like barely spiritual myself, And so, yeah, same thing. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but thank you for wanting to offer this healing art to me.
Yeah.
What I've learned about Reiki is that we are working with source energy, essentially. So it's like the bigger universal energy. It's not, you're not working to channel, you're not working specifically with the energies of like this one person, because of course, it is possible to have energies that attach to you and things like this. And sometimes that's called, there's different names for it, but like possessions could be one word for that. And there's a lot, that's all a spectrum, and yeah, where was I going with that? Lost my train of thought for a second. There's just like so many thoughts coming in at once. Can you remind me where I was?
You're talking about how you channel like universal.
Oh yeah, so
energy.
it is, right, instead of working one-on-one with like an individual. And so I guess bring up the individual energies because that is definitely real and true. It's not something that I've studied or know too much about, but I definitely have teachers and know other practitioners that work with those things. But for Reiki specifically, it is the universal energy. So I think of it as you're helping to just recalibrate somebody, and somebody else might have a different and or better definition, but the way that I am using Reiki is that I'm imagining helping somebody's nervous system settle. And so it's like I'm feeling into their energetic field, and I'm inviting whatever is there to move along in a way or reorient in a way that helps this person to feel more relaxed and centered. And so, yeah, and ultimately that's just working with, of course, like a loving presence of just kindness, compassion, understanding, acceptance. And so I'm just thinking about like being in session and moving that energy. Yeah, I think at the basis for me, that's what it is. And it can be more, and it could be explained differently. But where I'm at and the way that I am using like Reiki specifically, that's how I'm working with that. But you're speaking more to just energy in the world in general. Are you asking?
Well, I'm curious what you just said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I'm fascinated by what you just said. I didn't know that. It's almost like blessing people. That's another way of saying it.
Interesting. Yeah,
That's my interpretation is when you said calling universal energy. And when you do it, is it a one-on-one thing, or can you be in a room with somebody and sending them energy, or does it have to be like a focused one-on-one thing? How does it work?
Right, that's a great question. And people that I've worked with so far, my teachers and practitioners alike, colleagues alike, nobody really understands this piece of it. And I love that that's a part of a mystery with it. We don't know exactly how it works. You can do it distance for sure. I know people do Reiki over like Zoom or when I was in my car accident last year, one of my car accidents, my teacher, Jill, my Reiki teacher and friend, she was like, would you like me to do some Reiki on you? And so she, I don't know, I think just took some time at a certain time that I also knew she was doing it at that time in her home. And there's certain symbols that you work with also that go with the energy and are honoring the lineage that it comes from. And so there's symbols that you work with to be able to basically hold that channel and have protection around that distance, is my understanding of it. My very light understanding of it. So yeah, I don't know how the distance works, but I know that it does work. And same with animals. I know that animal Reiki is really, it is really potent. It can be really helpful for animals. Because if you think like animals are constantly watching basically energetics, right? I don't think we really can fully understand for real how an animal is seeing the world because we don't have their lived experience, right? And so, but just going back to primal and instincts, there's a lot more energetics in that also because you're feeling into it. And so I think that can be really, when we live in such a high stress world, and our animals regulate to humans because our nervous systems regulate together. That's not surprising. And so when we have people that are really stressed out, our animals are also finding to be more stressed. And we see this commonly with more like house animals, like dogs and cats, especially small dogs, I would say. Yeah, not to stereotype, but yeah, animal Reiki is something I'm really interested in. I haven't explored it yet, but I was just gifted a book, and I'm at the tip of the iceberg. I feel like I'm at the tip of the iceberg for a lot of it, which is why I wanted to record the conversation, because I think it's important to capture these curiosities along the way, and I'm not trying to pretend to be an expert about it, but I just, same as you, I'm a skeptic and have these questions too. So I love these conversations.
You're doing this workshop next Friday. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I need to honestly review what we put together because it's been a couple months. But the idea of it is that it's restorative yoga, so you're resting and relaxing, and then you're also, Jill and I will be guiding people to just become aware of their own energy and maybe even learn how to basically do like a body scan and just understand your own energy field and how you're feeling. And then I can't remember exactly because we went through a lot of different iterations. So I think there's a little bit of you doing it on yourself, and then through the restorative yoga, also us moving around and just doing it on people as well. Yeah. Cool. But the idea is to really just exactly like we're talking about here, where like you and I are like, what is that? That's kind of what the idea started for the workshop, to bring people in to be like, okay, like what is that? How do I understand it a little better? But not just through education, but experience.
Right. Yeah. Awareness, and this is their own awareness. Awareness is a little seed, and then it grows, and it spreads the light.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so of this topic,
yes,
my curiosity is, when you bring this to class, when you do class, and I, as an experienced member of class, would attest to the energy shift that you bring to class, always.
Oh,
you
say
always.
More.
Oh, yeah. So I know that when I can make it to your class, like I am guaranteed that you bring this tremendous gift of peace. Like you have this really solid, it's not like, sometimes when Courtney's feeling good, peaceful or something, sometimes it's a good class. No, it's like a really profound experience every time. And it's very intentional on your part. And I know that you, even though it seems easy to us, you have to, I know, practice and live a peaceful way so that you can transmit it and gift it to us and help us encounter it. And so as I was experiencing it today, all the little tiny shifts were just remarkable as we moved through our heart and our back and openings. It was so intuitive and so right at every moment. How do you know? How do you know?
How do I know?
How do you know this magic? How do you know? And how can you consciously spread it to us? It's not the movement.
Sure. Well, thank you. First of all, just thanks for that reflection. I really needed to hear that. And it's really, I think that's a really big way that I learn about myself in the world is the reflections that people give me, especially people that I know and love and trust, you know, and also, of course, having a discerning ear to be able to listen to what might be more challenging to hear. But just thanks, because I'm living in the experience. I don't quite see it as like a guaranteed reset for peace. That's a really profound statement. Whoa. I'm gonna carry that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to take a breath and come into your question. How do I do that? Honestly, part of it really is, I think that it really does come down to that I have dedicated my life to this path, which can be hard to remember sometimes, but the path of sharing and teaching, you know? And so it really is that I am tuning in and sharing from my own heart. And I think that makes a huge difference. And of course, I've been teaching for I guess like 11 or 12 years. And so it's been a journey because I haven't always been this fully embodied or confident. And oh my gosh, I remember the early days of just being terrified of like memorizing this routine. But I think that it really just is a testament to where I'm at in my own journey and my own life, that I understand my specialty of what I'm teaching, and I can just kind of intuitively flow with it. And so, yeah, it's really just, I'm listening to my own body as I go along and speaking from my heart. And I am remembering that I'm not the only one that needs to hear whatever's coming up, you know, like it's taken a long time, but just trusting that whatever I need to say out loud needs to be heard and that it'll be received well. And if I ever get feedback that it's not, I can adjust. You know, for example, I teach at a gym in Mount Vernon once a week, Riverside Health Club.
You do? You teach there?
Yeah, I teach gentle yoga there Friday mornings at 10. Yeah. Are you a member?
I was forever, and I used to do yoga there. And
cool. Yep.
Yoga stories.
Yeah, with Tanya. Yeah, I'm sure. We'll save those for another time. And so it's just different settings, right? And I love, as you know, being a student of mine here at Bow, I love poetry and reading poetry. And even today, especially, I brought a Lakota prayer forward, right? And I'm like, a prayer or a poem. And I always mention those things because I came into this stuff, again, skeptic. I like the word God, literally, like if a teacher mentioned the word God, I couldn't. Like I just basically dissociate the rest of class. That's how sensitive I was to anything spiritual. Yeah. And so I try to be really cautious of that when I bring something like that, but it's beautiful to have the opportunity to share and, you know, and hold that space. But at the gym, it's a little different. People are like, what is this?
Right.
And I asked a student of mine once about if he'd be comfortable if I shared a poem, and it was a great testament to exactly what I'm speaking to. And he was like, what kind of poem? And basically went into how he at a yoga studio got into chanting one time and didn't realize that he was chanting all this stuff, and it went against his religion, and like you just never know what you're going to bump up against. So of course honoring the atmosphere of where I'm at, but I just love and try to prioritize being in spaces where I can share from my heart, and also wiggle into spaces that, like the gym, or it's like people are slightly uncomfortable, but I can make it work. And I really love that for myself too. I feel confident in being able to help people get comfortable with
stretching gently.
Yeah.
Stretching gently.
Stretching gently. Oh my gosh.
And they don't quite know, but they know how they feel.
Right.
And so they're not as open to receive, but they gently stretch.
Yeah.
Good job.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so much depth for sure to what I'm bringing. And it's hard for me to remember all of it sometimes too, but it really is. Yeah. The gentle stretch of mind, body, and spirit. Oh my gosh. That's so brilliant. I just love it. It's just straight through pun. Right. Yeah, gentle stretch. But truly, yeah, it makes me think of back to the beginning of it all. Sometimes I still have this little narrative piece that comes up. I don't know. I think it's like my judgmental teenager or something that's like, who are you? Like talking to yourself and prioritizing you, and like, and just, there's like a whole cringe culture to it. And it's so interesting because it's right on the edge of no, self-love is a power play, like we've got to know ourselves well in order to, especially right now, be resilient and to feel grounded, to feel at all like ourselves, like a fraction of ourselves in the midst of all the chaos going on.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I was thinking about this morning. We can't even say the chaos going on in the world, right? It just it's been really hitting me that it's actually here in our backyard, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So to be able to show up and sharing this together, and to remember, it's so hard. Like I have to remember and I have to believe that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And to share those messages with that belief. And it's hard because sometimes I look around the room and it's like, I obviously don't know what anybody's thinking, but my own judgments and projections, I'm human, can get the best of me. I'm like, oh, that person doesn't look like they're enjoying it. Or maybe that person isn't vibing with the prayer. Like, and when I notice those thoughts and judgments coming up, I just have to let it go and remind myself, I don't know that. I don't know what they're thinking for sure, but I do know that my experience and challenge right now is not alone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
By giving voice to that at the beginning of class, it set the tone for like we are all in solidarity together. It was super powerful that you brought it up. Because we're all feeling so bad and so alone, and solidarity is right, is human peace together, right?
Totally. Yes.
And you brought that up, and we're all feeling all the things, right? So much anxiety and everything.
Right.
And by the end of class, I was able to cry, and I was like, I can feel my heart again.
Yeah.
Like there's all the sadness, like I can release the sadness. I can feel it as opposed to just this, as opposed to fear.
Yeah.
Because we don't, fear, no bueno.
Right.
No bueno.
Yeah. Yeah, it got me.
Makes us clenched.
Yes. Yeah.
Into frozenness.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I don't know if it'll come to fruition, but I was percolating on something, maybe, I don't know what it would be called, but what came to my mind is like complete the stress response, and it's like a screaming ritual or something. Like, I don't know. Getting some people together to like maybe do a little bit of breath work and breathing light yoga to be able to express a little bit, and let what you're saying, the emotion come up, because it's true. It's like there's so much emotion, and it's like we start crying, and then we're like, who am I to be crying? And then we're angry, and then it's just like we don't have the space to complete that stress response, and we need that. We need to be able to scream and cry and just fully feel it
and let it out. And then when you scroll, and then it turns into overwhelm and hopelessness. At the end of one phone session, it's just
right.
And then it gets trapped inside.
So we have to be able to let it go. I want to create more spaces like that, I think, to just feel. So I'm glad that you're experiencing that in yoga, and that you're at a place within yourself to be able to let yourself do that, because I think that's what's challenging for people too, is sometimes they just can't. I love to share that I've always been the person, like literally like blubbering in the corner, like just sobbing after a yoga class. Like yoga really brought me home to myself for sure. And it wasn't like in a pretty cutesy way either.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it brought you home to your emotions?
I don't think that's what really brought me home to my emotions, but it certainly gave me the space to be with them.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when people, that's what I see a lot in my class, is like we're so busy that we don't slow down enough to recognize how we're actually feeling, and so just trying, that's part of what I'm passionate about too, is educating us on some of those types of skills. It's interesting because I was talking to a friend that's a parent recently, and I was like, holy shit, all of this stuff that I'm doing is also literally like reparenting. It's like learning all the stuff that ideally we would have been taught as kids, right? Like critical thinking skills and how to regulate our nervous system, which I'm not going to get into any sort of theories here, but you might think that it was almost on purpose. Like I was talking to a friend, I was like, why isn't this, why aren't we taught these things, like in school, for example? And he was like, well, that would make too much sense, wouldn't it? And I was like, that's interesting that we're not taught these basic ways to take care of ourselves?
I have thought about this a lot, this particular thing.
Okay. Yeah.
My interpretation of this is actually cultural.
Yeah. Ooh.
And I think, to be blunt, northern white people and Pacific Northwest culture, which is very Scandinavian, it's very white.
It's very white.
It's very heady.
Yes.
It's head on up. We are not people who sob, who shout, who scream, who dance easily, like people who live in the southern parts of the world. People who live more equatorial.
Getting so many chills.
Greeks, Southern Italians, Spaniards, people who get angry and deal with conflict straight up.
Yes.
We are not that way. This is not
Right.
a culture of people who handle conflict straight up, who are feisty,
Right.
who sob quickly, who scream at funerals.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so emotions are very repressed
Yeah.
and very controlled, and people value a lot of peace, which is nice, but it's a cultural aspect to there's
big
a
time.
repression, there's an emotional repression
Absolutely.
built in to a lot of white folk.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So as a soft blanket statement.
Blanket statement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's a great reminder. Absolutely. And an important one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's other places where people are really good at it and way more emotional and way more body oriented.
Oh my gosh. Well, and and those cultures tend to like work to live type cultures. We're not we're not living our lives so that we can go to work. It's like they really are. I don't know. I'm thinking of Spain, for example. It's like nobody's going anywhere fast. Like you're just sitting in the cafe for hours, and they have it like siestas built into the afternoons and things like this. I don't know if siesta specifically
their feelings.
Yeah, right.
It's totally normal to like get angry, to disagree, to be warm, to be all the things.
Which is also totally normal to being human. And what I've found, I don't know where the thread of research is for this, but what I've found is that when you learn how to be with your emotions, so there is emotional baggage that comes with learning how to be with your emotions. At first, there's a lot of stuff that's not yours or whatever.
Right.
But when you can learn to really be with an emotion as it comes up and learn how to move through it, like pure emotion lasts, I think it's like 45 to 90 seconds. And I've experienced this a lot nowadays, and it's so fascinating to me because it's like when I can move through it and be with it, it's like the biggest release. It's like an honoring of myself. I'm not holding on to it. And that's kind of what I'm saying about completing the stress response, right? There's a lightness to it. But when I can't do that, all sorts of things get kind of like kinked up within my nervous system.
Right. And if you stop that heart response over and over and over and over, your compassion, your sadness, all the feelings that feel full in your heart.
Yes.
You tamp that down, then you turn your heart to something hard, and then you're terrified to let anything real move through it.
Yeah. And that's both a joy and grief.
Exactly.
Wow. Yes. That's a great way to say that. Thank you. Yes. I love that you named them heart emotions. I mean, yeah. Are all emotions heart emotions? No. Ooh, can you say more about that?
Yes. Heart emotions are vulnerable, they're passionate, they are also a loss of control, like crying. That's why people hate to cry. You lose control and you're vulnerable, but it's when your heart is fully alive, right? Laughter is heart, and it's situated here. Fear is in the belly, right? Fear is in the belly, feel is clenched, you clench those, your butt, right?
Yeah, and the hips.
And the hips, you hold that tight, it's controlled, and it doesn't allow any energy to go up through your heart. Yeah. And then head energy, I think, is more like worry and fretting and ruminating. Yep. Right? Yeah. And it just kind of simmers there. And anxiety is in the head too. Yeah. Right? Because you can't feel anything. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for just breaking those down in basic ways like that. I love that. And I love the practice of holding an emotion for a while and just being like, where do I feel this in my body? How does it express,
Yeah.
But I love that you're really naming specifically vulnerable. And I think that's why it's so scary for us as humans to want to feel it, because it's like, I don't want, like, I think of it like a cloud. Like, emotions are kind of like a cloud, and if we have this that we can't see through, it's like a fog, and when you move through it, it's scary because you might get stuck there. You might get lost there. People die in that cloud, There's like despair, depression, like all of this stuff. Because usually we're not looking at it through the positive emotions.
Right.
But when you can give yourself permission to just be in it, again, it's like it makes things a lot more smooth, and it allows you to unlock that access, like you're saying, to those feel-good emotions.
Right. And remembering at all times, it's 90 seconds of intensity. You can handle it.
Right.
And people, when they go into the cloud of, darkness and fear, and they're like, I'm not going to feel. And that's instantly where medication, when you medicate, when you hurt yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid. But learning to sit and feel the damn emotion.
Yes. And feel it fully. And over again, it's a practice. Like, I've got to share for myself, I know these things, right? And it's fascinating to me that this pattern still comes up for me, and to this day I still have a challenging time recognizing like how to support myself and choose the best opportunity for me. Cannabis has been something that I reach for again and again and again, and especially in heightened times like this, when I feel really stressed out or there are really stressful things in my life, like that's what I'm turning to for medicating. And there's so many different, this is like a whole rabbit hole and wormhole, but it's just the I'll just say, like, I feel like it's encouraged in our culture. It's so fascinating the way it's normalized. Yeah, we're encouraged to like check out, and we're living in such like an interesting double-edged sword hypocrisy in our culture, and we're like steeped in it. It's hard to see it. It's hard to understand why we're confused when we're pulled in all these different directions, but we're literally being told like opposite things. I'm going to circle back to the emotions real quick, because I think what's interesting is that it's so easy to notice when we don't feel good, right? But we have this idea that we're supposed to feel good all the time. And the irony of getting in tune with our emotions more is that we calibrate kind of to this center place where there is contentment, and we're just fine, and it's okay, and we know how to navigate things. And sometimes we come out of that center one direction or the other, but it's like, oh, hey, I'm here and I'm fine. It's not being happy all the time. It's not living this extravagant, joyful life. It's, and I think that's what people think, is that it's that whole like striving to be happy thing, where, and then remembering it's about the journey, or whatever that cheesy quote can be.
Right.
Yeah. I said it backwards, totally. But I'm dyslexic. What is the actual quote though? It's not about the journey, it's the destination. And like, especially for happiness.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Yeah. It's the living. That was funny.
Thanks for following me there.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question. It's kind of embarrassing, because I feel like I'm not very cool to ask you this question.
Oh, I love all questions.
Okay. So,
yes.
So I don't do cannabis at all. When I was young, I had terrible experiences, the terrifying experiences, and I just, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But, of course, I grew up with it everywhere.
Sure.
And then with the legalization of it, I've watched the younger generation, my children's generation, just go berserk. Like, everyone in the world does it. Yeah. Everyone.
Right.
And it's super normalized. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
What does it do? How does it make you feel? Why?
How does it make you feel? Why?
Why do you do it? I don't get it. Because I just am like, ugh.
Well, I first want to just say and honor that for some people, it's very anxiety inducing, and it is, I believe it is hallucinogenic, technically, of some kind, Yeah. And when I have a very low tolerance, I've definitely experienced that. It's bizarre as heck, because I feel like I have been in relationship with cannabis enough that my tolerance usually is like, I don't have that experience, but some people do, and you can. And so I just want to say that not everybody loves cannabis. There's so many different sides to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be very dampening to the nervous system. So it's like it slows things down, which especially for people, I was just doing a little bit of research around this, but it feels like it's especially a double-edged sword in that way for neurodivergent folks, because it's like, it's dampening all of these thoughts that I'm having constantly and helping me feel like I can function in some way. But then it's also slowing down. It slows down the parts of our brain and bodies that help us to actually function, like making decisions, and task switching becomes more challenging and things like this. So it just helps to soften and maybe subdue the nervous system a little bit. I'm sure somebody else would have a more informed and different answer. I just want to name that. But that is how I experience it. And it's kind of, I was thinking about this very recently. It's just that it feels, and my therapist invited me to think about it, like, what are the good things about it? And so I imagine it as like a warm hug. It feels like a hug from a friend that's like, shh, you don't need to think about all this anymore. Like, and then I get the giggles or the munchies. And so it just makes me feel like I can face and handle life. But the flip side of that is like, I'm actually numbing out and not paying attention. I'm not feeling my emotions. And that's my own pattern. I'm not saying that's, of course, isn't true for everybody, but I was reading a long while ago, so unfortunately I can't reference it or anything, but I read some article that was talking about how, especially for my generation at 35 years old, it's like we started using cannabis for recreation and fun and partying or whatever, silliness. And then now that we're adults, it's like we use it for medicine as like an anxiety and support to get through the day and things like this. And at least in my mindful recovery journey, I think that's a really slippery slope. It becomes a really slippery slope when you start using the same thing, whatever it is, as both a reward for joy and a reward for sadness.
Whoa, that's so profound.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
How does it affect you in your social world? What effects does it have on you socially, or that you think that you know? Especially like repeated, like
for me,
lot of use. Does it make you more social, less social? Like
I used
not
to
care
be,
as much about people?
Many years ago, I would say it was a boost for social stuff. Like, I love using it as a connection point. I still do to some extent. I was such a stoner in my 20s. I would go everywhere and do everything stoned. It was just like how I lived my life.
Yeah.
So it felt very like, I loved connecting with people in that way, and it made me excited and feel like, I don't know, very much my personality type, but like life of the party, like, hey. But then over time, now it gives me so much anxiety. Like, I cannot smoke and be in public. Like, I can barely smoke and go to a movie with my family. I do that sometimes in my family drives, and I love that because I don't have to think about anything, right? I'm just like the passenger princess.
Yeah.
But I feel weird and silly like when I'm out, and I definitely, it makes me like, if I had plans and then I smoke, I'm like, I'm not doing that now. And I had another friend point that out to me, that it made him like, you have an idea around like, yeah, I'm going to meet these people. Like, I'm a social person, whatever. But then you smoke and you're like, I'm actually not going to go out and meet anybody. I'd rather sit on the couch. And so, you know what, as I share this, and obviously I'm sharing a lot of different angles and experiences, I think what I come back to really is, I think of this as a sticky plant. Like, it literally is a sticky plant. And I think that that can move into metaphor of how sticky and tricky it can be to have a good relationship with it. And that's ultimately what I am navigating and helping myself and anybody in life with, is how are you in good relationship with the world around you? And so, of course, I say that self-care is a lifelong commitment path, because there's so many layers to that. You can choose any one thing, right? But coming back to that and thinking about cannabis, like what is your relationship with it, and how do you get into a right relationship with it? That's how I approach mindful recovery, especially, is how do I get into right relationship with this? And can I? Because for some people you can't. Like addiction is too much, and you do have to cut it off. For other people, you can find moderation, and like what is that relationship? But yeah, it's tricky. It's definitely tricky.
Yeah, that's so enlightening to me and so helpful. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for asking. And yeah, totally. I love that. Thanks for just saying. I want to be cool. It's not very cool.
I can't ask. Yeah.
To be honest, like, which is interesting from my perspective too. And I am finally at a place in my life where I'm like, it's kind of not really cool to be stoned all the time, you know? And so it feels also good to be able to say that and to just like hold both of our perspectives. And there's no right or wrong. We're just sharing our lived experience, you know?
Yeah. And I'm sharing my questions, like the vast majority of all younger people I know do a lot of cannabis. And
absolutely.
I'm losing relationships in my family. And I have somebody who's really dear, and their relationship with cannabis started in their 20s, and they were the life of the party. And now it's exactly what you described. They don't go out, they've stopped their relationship, and it's not about me. And I just feel so sad and left out. I'm left out of the club.
Yeah.
And it is that big a deal in this person's life that
totally. Yeah.
That it's more important than so.
Well, it makes us feel like we can actually live our lives, right? Like becomes a supportive crutch, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but it is something that we lean on to feel like we can function,
and it helps you just feel calmer and like handling things.
Yes. Okay. And when it has served you in good ways for a long time, it can be really hard to see the ways that it's not serving you anymore.
I get it. Yeah.
One of my mentors said that like the sticky trickiness with cannabis is that suddenly it's been 10 years and you're in your 40s and you're still on the couch and you haven't gone after any of the dreams that you want, you know? And for me personally, because in this mindful recovery path that I'm describing, as you can imagine, my journey has been very on again, off again. Like I'm testing the relationship, I'm taking breaks, I'm trying to minimize it, and just, it's honestly like a shit show. It's the messiest way to learn how to be in relationship with a substance with addictive tendencies. But I'm also not doing it alone. You know, I have a therapist and all of these things, and I'm getting vulnerable and losing my track of thought, which is common and happens, but I need a reminder of where I was at. Do you remember what I was talking about? Right before that? I don't think like you got too lost. I think, okay.
Yeah. You're just talking about your relationship with navigating it, and I
had a point and it just dissolved. So it's okay though. It's okay.
Let's see if we can find it. Find that thread. Where did it go?
Did you ask a question?
Yeah, I was saying it was really enlightening to show the experience of it. I said, does it make you feel calmer? Does it make... And you were talking about the crutch.
Right.
The crutchness of it, and then how you're navigating.
How I'm navigating it. Yeah.
The messy part of you.
And what I was going to say is, thank you so much. As I come back to it more after having time away, when I come back to it now and I find myself slipping into those deeper patterns of like, ooh, this feels good, I'm going to use it for more time than I want to. Especially right now, I've been finding that cannabis assists me in slipping into apathy. And that is really hard to admit and to recognize. And it's obvious. I don't know if it's obvious, but for me, it's felt very destabilizing. I'm like, whoa, hold on. What? This feels so supportive. And it also actually is helping me check out a little too much in a way that is not aligned with my values.
Yeah.
And that, it gives me chills to admit that. But I think that's right on the money, is that, you know, sometimes things happen in our lives and we do get off our center. Like we have to check in with our values and make sure we're still living in a good way. And it can be hard when the things that we love or that feel supportive or have been supportive aren't in alignment with that anymore.
Yeah.
That's
very, very brave of you to say that. Very honest.
Thanks.
And I think you're right on the money.
Right. Yeah.
It's the truth. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really brave to say that.
Thanks. Yeah, well, and it really is what drives my work, because I want to hold space and help people understand that for themselves.
Yeah.
And it's hard to look at, and because because of how hard it is to look at. We need somebody that feels safe, not just somebody. We need both somebody, like another nervous system to be able to regulate with, and a setting that feels comfortable for us to be able to start looking at these contradictions within ourselves.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
And when we brush up against those contradictions, exactly as we're seeing in real time in this conversation, like, it's normal for the brain and the body to respond. Like, for my mind to keep going blank and being like, oh, I'm not going to talk about that. Like, sure, yeah, it's an ADHD thing or whatever, but I also know that happens when we brush up against vulnerable things. And when we start to brush up against these, especially these contradictions that are alive and real in our lives, it makes the body go like, whoa. And so being with a practitioner that understands those things and can hold you in that space, I think is important. Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you build in, the support and understanding in your life around that. Mm-hmm. And that's literal, like, sure, thoughts and support, but it can my specialty, of course, is in the lifestyle piece. Like, what are we bringing in to actually feel supported? Mm-hmm. That what are we bringing in that, for me, it's like, what am I bringing in that I know I can turn to that isn't cannabis, Mm-hmm. And as I've been stuck in this cycle recently, since the holidays, I was like making a list for myself. I was like, I think a shower would also feel like that warm hug from a friend and help me regulate my system. Like, what if I took a hot shower instead of smoking another spliff, for just to share for myself.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we find these small and realistic things. Mm-hmm. But that's what's so interesting to me, is that sometimes it's too simple, that our mind is like, no. And especially with our convenience-driven culture and success-driven culture, it's like, if it's not hard and I don't have to work really gritty for it, it's like, why is it even worth going after? Yeah. Does it make a difference? And it's like, no, actually taking one breath with yourself every morning does make a difference. Try it for a week straight and see how your nervous system feels. Yeah. Like, that's literally where I start with people when I work with them. And it's true. It's like, we got to start just getting curious about what it means to be more embodied. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow, and I guess pretty brilliant.
We're going to take a moment here to absorb the...
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, the insight and earned wisdom that you've lived and embodied. And it gives me this other perspective of how much challenge and struggle has also brought you to being able to transmit peace to people on such a profound level. Like, it's very profound what you do in class. And there's nothing light and flowy about it, like, oh yeah, I'm just sharing my peace. It's super deep, because you have earned knowing how to regulate it, how to pass peace and feel peace and give peace, because life is hard. Yeah. And it's not simple, and it's not, it is ultimately simple, but it's not easy. It's not easy.
Right, yeah.
So it just gives me great respect for the essence of being able to transmit peace. Ooh. In what you do.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I love that. I never thought of myself as a peace transmitter. I just haven't. I don't know.
Hello, everybody knows that, Courtney.
Okay, I get it. Just those words specifically, though, I've just never taken that in or thought about that.
Courtney, peace transmitter.
No big deal.
Right.
I'm the peace transmitter.
Hello. My name's...
Well, this is great. I got a new title.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Put it in my Instagram bio.
It could be like your elevator pitch.
Yeah, totally. I'm a peace transmitter.
Right. Hi.
I don't hate it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So if you hear me saying that, we'll know where it started.
Okay.
Ooh. Perfect. Yeah. And I think that also just brings it back around to asking about your own energy and just what is energy too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I especially really we can definitely close down the conversation, but I just want to name that I really love these questions around energy too, because I know that it's still so new. And I know so many people that are in the scientific and physical worlds, like physical therapy, for example, is a great example. And I know it can be really hard to understand, like, how do emotions affect your body, and so really bringing this conversation in through the nervous system, like you're saying, the way we clench things when we're experiencing certain emotions and things like this, that is exactly how that happens. And so all of it is just what were we? It's expanding awareness, but what did we say? Gentle stretching. Gentle stretching of expanded awareness. There we go.
Gentle stretching of expanded awareness. Write that down.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you for the lovely conversation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you want to, if I do end up using this, just say who you are and what you do, or would you rather remain anonymous?
I guess. Okay.
Sure. Yes. Who are you?
My name is Katie Walton, and I'm an artist and an art teacher. And I think about these kinds of things a lot. And I was so delighted and honored to get to speak with Courtney and have her open up to me about it. So,
do you have a website?
I do. It's my website is katiewaltonart.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're on Instagram too, right?
I am, and that's Katie_Walton_art.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.